All right, the final seven. We're getting to the last few weeks, and Big Brother 26 continues to be nothing but stupid players. I know for some people this has been entertaining. In some ways, I was entertained a bit, but I've gotten over the stupidity of this cast, and I'm just tired of people acting like anybody from this cast is any good at all. They're all really bad average players, below average players, but it's, Monday night, Tuesday, time for my power rankings for Big Brother 26. At the bottom is Leah. Leah is going home this week. She did not take the proper shot last week, going after Takor. Good to get her out, but it was very clear that Chelsea's trio was the one more in line, and Chelsea as an individual was somebody that, guess what, Leah, you shouldn't have ever trusted. Quinn protected MJ, Cam, and Chelsea on his HOH, and he got taken. He got put up as a renom the very next week and evicted. What's happening on your, the week following the HOH? MJ wins. A veto gets used by somebody in that trio, by MJ, and now you're going on the block and leaving. It's like stupidity saw what happened last time, and they decided just to say, I'll protect you. What's the worst that can happen? The exact thing that happened to Quinn? Yes. The exact thing that happened to Quinn. So Leah's going to be probably voted out unanimously on Thursday night, and we're going to move into double eviction. Pretty interesting overall, but she is my number 7 ranked player. Number 6 is actually going to be Chemo. I don't think Chemo is making the inroads he needs to, especially with people like, say, Leah or Angela this week at all. I feel like Chemo, even with Cam, he's not making many inroads. I think Chemo is primed to be evicted this week in the double, depending on, no matter who wins. I just think Chemo is very likely to go. He was saved this week, but he was even debating with MJ, was it smart if she used the veto on him? He's going to be a clear threat, I think, if he makes Final 2 with the story. So Chemo's not going to make Final 2, and he's probably, like I said, he's probably going to go home in the double in my prediction. Him or my number 5th ranked player, Rabina. My number 5th ranked player, Rabina. I just think Rabina is doing a little bit better than Chemo. She obviously has the connection a little bit more with Chelsea. She's at least, comforting Leah, maybe getting Leah on her side if there is a jury vote down the line. But Rabina showed her inability to win kind of these comps, and she's basically playing to be Chelsea's new number 2, much like many other people are in the house. I think if Chemo survives this double, there's a good chance that Rabina goes next. And that's why she's my number 5 ranked player. Number 4, Angela. Angela is likely surviving another week. Without Leah in the house, I think they're going to be more than happy to keep her around and keep her safe this week in the double. But she has a chance if she wins an HOH at the right time. She could really make this game turn on its side. And, she's going to be somebody who's targeting Chelsea. She's going to be somebody who's not going to be afraid to speak up about Chelsea in these upcoming weeks. Who knows? She could be a threat to win this, HOH on double eviction night. And who knows where that goes. That could really damage the Cam, MJ, Chelsea trio in some way. MJ wanted her out this week. Hopefully MJ starts growing a brain in there. But very clearly, Angela is going to have a tough time winning a jury vote and making it to the end. But I think she's in a much better spot this week to do so. And she kind of kept the secret safe, obviously made it a blindside from Leah. So if anything, there should be, works in there for Makensy to be like, hey, Angela actually is somebody I can trust here. Maybe it could also be Angela in the final 2. I don't think I can beat Cam or Chelsea in the final 2, but maybe I can beat Angela. And who knows? The jury goes the wrong way with Makensy with how she handled this week with Leah. Maybe Angela beats Makensy in a final 2. I doubt it, but stranger things can happen this season. Number 3 is Makensy. Yes, Makensy was stupid. She shouldn't have put up Angela at first, and she shouldn't have targeted Leah here second. But the sad reality of Big Brother this season is people are not smart enough to realize this is probably a terrible move for her. And at minimum, Leah's a POV threat, finishing second in this veto, second in the veto beforehand. MJ's won the last 2 vetoes she got to play with the jury house. There's a good chance as MJ now, as she hits Final 6 and gets to play in every single POV comp the rest of the way, as long as she's in the house, she'll just comp out and make Final 2. And I think the house will give her credit for this move, more or less, if she makes Final 2. And there could be a good argument, kind of like a Jag last season, that yeah, she got all of her blood on this hand. She was part of the T-Core eviction. She was part of the Quinn eviction. She's part of the Leia eviction. Doesn't matter if these people were allies with her. These are people that might have, beat her in comps or beat her socially. And as long as she keeps winning these comps, it can hard to argue that maybe she doesn't deserve the win. As Jag showed us last season, being smart in the game and having a brain is not a requirement to win Big Brother anymore. And this jury, I think, would be more rewarding of this move outside of, say, Quinn and Leah than anybody else. Number 2, I have Chelsea. I know, everybody on Twitter is already proclaiming Chelsea one of the all-time greats. But, here's why this move wasn't that great for Chelsea this week. Because we now have 4 days for the house gets to talk. Leah has 4 days to come up with an anti-Chelsea campaign, even if she's out and she's starting to lay the seeds of it, even just tonight. That people may get the idea of, man, if we take Chelsea to the end, we're going to lose. And we're at Final 6. Chelsea is not a POV threat. Chelsea is not that much of an HOH threat consistently. Chelsea needs somebody to drag her to the end, and I just think she showed her power and hands too early this week with Leah. Was it impressive for MJ to do that? Kind of. MJ's an idiot, but it still was the power. Is it necessary this week? Maybe a little bit. Leah could be a threat in the double. The reality is, though, is she showed she has a lot of power and flexibility, and all it takes is a couple people to start being like, man, if Chelsea makes the Final 2, she's going to win this game, and man, Chelsea has a lot of power, and if she hits that block anytime the rest of the season, much like we saw what happened to T-Core last week, I think Chelsea goes home. And given where we are in the season, and given her lack of compability and her allies being good at comps, I'm sorry, Chelsea stands. She's not that great of a player, and I don't think she has a clear the path to the end as so many out there have seen. Because at the end of the day, all it's going to take is somebody to have the option to evict Chelsea and think, she's the actual threat to win this game. We have to do it. Much like we saw even Chelsea and Cam turn on T-Core last week. Cam, who was like, T-Core was somebody I want in the Final 3 with Chelsea. Just saying, I see her getting cut sooner rather than later. I think this move was showing her power in her hand a little bit too much early. And again, she's laid off a whole lot of dirt that if people start coming together and adding things together, her game's going to fall apart pretty bad, and she's going to be booted unless she wins some POVs, in my opinion. And number 1, I'm giving it to Cam. Cool, calm, and collected Cam. He was the person I think that actually did the most work to make sure that Leah went up this week, consistently being on MJ and really giving her the rationale on why this move would be good for her, even though it really wasn't. He was the one doing most of the work, and he was the one being the impressive game player throughout. There isn't much dirt you have on Cam. In fact, the only thing that kind of going against him was the idea that he is flirting with Makensy, but he's shown his cards against Leah. He's in a really good spot here. I think if he's able to get to the end with the Makensy, he now has the upper hand in the jury vote, and I just think that he's in a prime spot to win this game. People don't see him too much as a comp threat. I don't think people are going to target him in this double coming up here. I think MJ or Chelsea or Rabina and Kimo are far more likely. And I just think that he's going to be a smart enough player to realize Chelsea's going to win this game. So if he wins Final 4, Final 3, Final 3 HOH, Final 4 POV, and Chelsea's on the block, I'm sorry, he's going to make the move to take Chelsea out. And we're going to be looking at a season where everybody's saying, let's make history by having 2 women be in the Final 2. It's happened 5 times already, dipshits. We're going to have a Cam win. I'm putting all my stock in Cam. He's probably the best overall gamer in the house. I'm sorry, Chelsea stands. She puts out so much dirt on herself that if anybody had any self-interest in this game, they could have buried her by now. And it's not like she's working these relationships over. My God, she didn't include T-Core in her Pentagon alliance. She actively was pushing against T-Core's interest publicly to T-Core, and T-Core only was protecting her because of the pact that T-Core had as two black women in the game. She doesn't have that great of a social game. She's kind of getting by because some people feel of having a higher purpose, whether it be religion, whether it be wanting a woman of color to win. Again, if this was a normal season with people with a brain, or at least a few people with a brain, Chelsea would be long gone last week. But that's kind of how I see Big Brother 26 right now. Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And yeah, we'll see what happens in the double eviction this week, as well as who wins the next HOH. It's very clear Comics is coming up, and they're setting up for a needing to save the world from Anne Ainsley theme with some of the things going on tonight. But that's just it from me. See me later this week when we watch the Veto episode on Wednesday night after Survivor, and stick around to watch Survivor and do any other coverage. Have some good short reviews of a couple movies I saw this weekend in Whiplash and Transformers 1. And we're covering the Steelers here all season at Josh Does Movies, as they're now 3-0. That's going to be it, though, for this time. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys all have a good night, and try not to get too mad. And again, Chelsea stands, she's not that good. She's a below average player. Not top 5. Don't joke yourself. She hasn't even won the game yet. She hasn't even made top 5 yet. Let's get into the final 2 before we start proclaiming her a top 5 winner of all time when people are just playing for her for outside reasons that have nothing to do with the game. Bye.